Hello you guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to the first video in the 2024 reset series, which is my reset for 2024. I don't know where time has gone. It's so cheesy, but it feels like just yesterday we got engaged and we're starting to look at houses, and now we're like in this home that feels like we've been in it forever. And I just don't know where this year has honestly gone. It's flown by, it's crazy, but I'm really excited to take you guys through my little 2024 reset today. I'm kind of switching things up a little bit this year. I kind of divvy up the reset content in different videos just because I know one big video is so fun, but it is so much work. And obviously I'm filming this right now on my lunch break from my 9 to 5 right now. And so it's just easier if I break the videos up. And I also think it's more fun for you guys. So the next 2 videos you guys see, or technically this one, like the next 3 videos you guys are going to see, is like my week of reset content before the holidays. I tried something different last year where I viewed December as like my prep month, if that makes sense. I'm just hoping I'm in focus because I got a new lens and I really hope I'm in focus right now. Like, I would cry if I wasn't. I personally like to really take my time and plan out very intentional and personal goals to me, which is why I like to do it before the holidays. I'm also very type A, and if I don't do it before the holidays, I will spend the whole holiday season like fixating on goals, and I just like won't really be present and enjoying the holidays. So last year was the first year that I kind of set my goals beginning mid-December, and I really liked doing that for a few reasons. One, I felt like I could totally enjoy the holiday season and not stress about, like, I just love setting goals, so I feel like setting them early enough that I could just totally kind of shut that part of my brain off and then enjoy the holiday season really worked well for me. And then I kind of went into that last week of December, and instead of kind of like rushing to set goals, because I gotta set goals because New Year's coming, I already had my goals set and I could slowly start working on those habits even before New Year came, which I really liked. I also feel like there is this, and I talked about this in an Instagram reel actually, that there's this kind of over glamorization, is that even a word? I don't know, of setting goals like on New Year's and New Year's resolutions, that we as a society love the end goal of a goal and the end result, but we don't like the process of getting there. And oftentimes when we scurry to set goals at the last minute, we kind of just, you know, take inspiration from others, which is great and totally fine. Like, I think taking inspiration from other people's goals can be really helpful. But we kind of just take from other people's goals and just set goals to set goals, and we don't take the time to really think and marinate in them. And I'm going to use the word marinate a lot because it's such a good word for the goal setting process. But I feel like sometimes we just jot down random goals because it's January 1st, and so that's something I really wanted to stray away from. And I also wanted to just make sure that my goals were reflective of me and not somebody else. And so honestly, for the last like month or so, if I thought of something that, oh, I want to work on this next year, or oh, I'd like to try this, or oh, I'd like to do less of this next year, I would write it down on my notes app. And then kind of in the last week or so, here and there in little pockets of time, I've started setting my goals, and I did them by category. I just feel like this ensures that I'm really going into 2024 with goals that are for me. And the nice thing about it too is that I've kind of set all of my goals already. And so if I go into the last week of the year and I say to myself like, oh, I don't think this goal is for me anymore, I can just take it off and it's not a big deal. Like, I'm really giving myself the time to think and figure out what goals are meant for me, if that makes sense. But anyways, I just wanted to share that perspective, and I like uploading these videos early so that you can watch them whenever you feel like resetting for a new year. If that's today, great. If that's Christmas Eve, great. If it's Boxing Day, if it's the 31st, if it's January 5th, literally you do you do what's best for you. But I have realized that if I view December as more of a prep month instead of rushing to finish my 2023 goals, it just works a lot better for me long term. And now I can kind of go into the holiday season with most of my goals set and then really focus on starting those habits. I'm a big believer that you can just start on goals anytime. Like, I'm probably going to start on my 2024 goals the last week of 2023 just to kind of get that momentum going. But yeah, that's my super chatty, long-winded intro. All that to say, I don't want anyone to feel pressure that they have to set their goals now. You can do them whenever it feels right for you. But I think that starting to brainstorm and get the gears moving sooner rather than later will help you make more meaningful goals and not just like rushed and crammed goals because it's December 31st and I haven't set any goals. You know what I mean? So anyways, that's my little intro. But like I said, today we're going to do kind of some reset stuff, and I've divvied it up a little bit different. So today we're going to talk about 2024 goals. I'm going to talk about some of my reading goals, my book stats for 2023, and then one favorite book from each month of the year. And then I'm also going to share some reflection questions with you guys. Then the next video you guys see will be my financial goals specifically, which I will share in this video, but I won't go into depth explaining them. Then we're going to do like a prepping for 2024 video where we kind of do more of the vision board, organize the house, more of like a home life reset, if that makes sense. And I just like divvying it up because your girl's busy. I know all of you guys are busy. I don't have like one full day to dedicate to like getting my life together, and so I thought spreading it out would be a bit more fun and a bit more feasible, especially during this chaotic time of year. And with that being said, I'm actually not going to even do a vision board in this video. I'm going to do it, like I said, in my prepping for 2024 video, because once again, I like to let those goals marinate, and I'm not going to go ahead and make a vision board if I'm not 100% sure that some of these goals aren't going to come off my list in the next few weeks. I just want to say that I am not going to be going over my 2023 goals in this video for a few reasons. One, I already kind of did that in my life reset ending 2023 video. But two, for a lot of us this year, you know, we maybe didn't get a lot of our goals accomplished. We were in survival mode, and I just want to respect, and I know that because I've been there too. And you know, there's been some times where I've seen like, oh, I accomplished all of my 2023 goals. It kind of makes, you know, if you were in like survival mode this year, it kind of makes you not feel the greatest. And so I don't want to put that pressure on anyone. Just I'm going to talk about my 2023 goals, what I accomplished, what I didn't, because it doesn't really matter. We're going into a new year now. It's a fresh start for whoever needs it. And yeah, but let's jump into it. I'm so excited. Let me take a sip of coffee. I'm sorry if it's a little echoey in here. I just had to completely move over to a new spot. I'm still trying to figure out my filming setup for sit-down videos in the house. All right, let's jump into the goals. Like I mentioned previously, my finance goals, I'm just gonna go through super quick because I'm gonna film a whole video on that. But if you're not interested in that video and you just wanna hear about them super quick, I got you. We've got be stricter on savings and investing goals, average 10 to 12 no spend days a month, invest a total of $10,000, work on saving up, not into my budget, start utilizing sinking funds more, and buy less but buy better, which kind of corresponds with one of my personal goals as well. And like I mentioned, if you're interested in like the deep dive of the financial goals and how I'm going to achieve them, that video will be coming either the next video or the video after. We have trade a car in for, sorry, I said that's so weird. Trade in a car for an SUV. I didn't know how to word that one. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Matt, but basically we definitely need to upgrade one of the cars now that we live out in the country, and Matt has a longer commute into work, and we obviously have bad winters here. And we do a lot of DIY projects. You guys know Matt like loves to learn, and we just envision ourselves spending so much on U-Hauls and getting furniture deliveries that it makes more sense for us to upgrade one of the cars. And we kind of knew that once we got a house a bit further out or into the country, that we would probably upgrade one of the cars. I think I'll keep mine just because I have a really good interest rate on my car, and I love my Elantra. But for Matt, who commutes into work every day, it makes more sense for him to trade in his car, which is paid off, and then get an SUV or a truck. So that's kind of one of the goals. It's like one of those one-off goals, but we're really excited about that, just to, you know, basically for my Facebook Marketplace finds, you know. Next, quality over quantity in my wardrobe kind of goes with my finance goal of buy less but buy better. I really want to work on upgrading pieces in my wardrobe that are high quality, not low or mid quality, because that is one of my character traits. Is I just don't like spending money on clothes, so I find myself buying cheap versions of things, but then I need to replace them every few months, and it's worth it to spend a bit more and invest in the like longevity of a piece of clothing. And so that's something I really want to work on this year. I also want to learn how to make bread, and some of these goals have like sub steps, which is why they are like a toggle and not a check mark. But for example, learn how to make bread. I want to start with a bread machine because I feel like that's easier, and then I want to learn to make sourdough because we eat a lot of bread in our house, and just be something fun over the winter to kind of keep me busy. Obviously with my seasonal affective disorder and just my mental health in general, I really want to learn new hobbies this winter and try new things, keep myself busy. Next is start delegating in my personal and professional life. This is something I really struggle with in both parts of my life, personal and professional. Personal, I definitely struggle with it. I don't know why I get so nervous to say this, but something I think that we want to delegate this year is getting a house cleaner. I'm not sure. We have to like do the research. I've been in contact with a few companies who they have pretty affordable prices, and I'm not sure if that's just because we're out in the country now, but definitely seems like something we can reasonably work into our budget and delegate that, because we spend so much time cleaning on the weekends. And then also my professional life with YouTube and my corporate job, I find that I get kind of asked to do a lot of tasks that aren't in my threshold for my job, and like truthfully I just don't get paid enough to do all these things. So I've started to delegate, and it's something I want to continue kind of going into 2024 as well. So I want to find ways to document memories and milestones more. I feel like obviously we take pictures and we vlog, but I really want to find more ways to just like have memories to look back on. A good example of this is we actually got, I think it's in an upcoming vlog because I haven't gone to get it yet at my PO box, but I ordered like a wine journal, and so every time we have a bottle of wine, we're gonna take the label off and put it in this journal, and then we're gonna write down the memory attached to it so that we have it to look back on. Same thing with like ornaments. We like to get ornaments from places that we go so that we can, you know, look back on it when we're decorating our tree. And I want to just keep up with documenting our memories and milestones for our little family, because it's so much fun and life just goes by so quick. Take more photos. Really prioritizing different ways to capture memories and milestones that aren't just like pictures. Next one, I want to learn sign language. I'm going to try and task myself with learning 5 new words a month. I just think it's something very valuable, especially being in the healthcare field, that I'd like to learn. I'd also like to learn Arabic or Spanish, because those are 2 very prominent languages in Canada. So I'm gonna start with sign language. I've always had an interest in learning sign language. I think it can be so beneficial, and so that's one of my big goals for the year. And then also just improve on my friendships. You have friends move away, you have friends get married, have kids and all this stuff, and so I really want to put some of my energy into my friendships this year, or put some more energy into my friendships. The great thing is that all of my friendships are low maintenance friendships. Like, we're all so busy. One of my best friends just bought a house. One of my other good friends is overseas right now. And so I have a lot of great low maintenance friends that understand, but I still want to prioritize it, whether it be like having one girls' night every month or just things like that. Next, in health and wellness, I have 3 bigger goals. So I have work on my rehabilitation. You guys know your girl's got some issues, okay? I've got long COVID. I've got, you know, just some like neurological deficits from all of my concussions, chronic migraines. And I really want to work on my rehabilitation now that I'm at a good new normal. I feel like 2023 was kind of all about finding my new normal and getting back there. I really want to start going to vestibular therapy. As you guys know, I really struggle with getting very overstimulated in high stimuli environments like Costco, Winners, Home Goods, stuff like that. And so my sister-in-law, who's an audiologist who deals with this a lot, said that vestibular therapy could be helpful. I really want to work on my short-term memory loss. That's another big goal of mine. I really want to work on consistent protein intake. I'm really hit or miss with this. Especially this year with my chronic nausea, I was just eating a lot of like carbs, which there's nothing wrong with. I love carbs, but I wasn't staying full for long because I was just eating like toast with butter noodles, like just things to settle my stomach. And now that I'm back at, once again, like a new normal, and I don't really have that nausea anymore, I really want to get back to a good protein intake, especially as I start incorporating moving my body again and lifting and exercise. And then with that, my last goal in health and wellness is to run my 9th half marathon. I've run a half marathon, or at least one, obviously, every year since 2017. But last year was the first year I didn't, obviously, because I was just recovering from, or learning to deal with long COVID. And I was honestly just terrified. I feel like fainting for me was such a traumatic experience that it took me a long time to get over that. And so I'm making it a goal this year to get back into it, because I love to run and I really want to get to 10 half marathons. So I feel like number 9 is good progress, whether it be, you know, a Disney half or another one. I really want to set that goal so that I can also start training, because I kind of have to work from 0 back up. I feel like I lost a lot of my stamina with having COVID. So next, in travel, we have 5 goals, and a lot of these are already planned out, so I know that they're going to happen, but it's still kind of fun to set the goals. First, I have visit a new Disney park. We had this on our list last year and we just didn't get to it, but we are going to Disneyland because they just announced Star Wars night and all their after hour events. We might go in April or May, but we are going to Disneyland this year, which is super exciting. And we have friends that live close by there, so it's like a good way to hold us accountable because they'll probably come with us. I would really love to go on another media trip with Disney. I had so much fun. You guys were just so supportive. I got so many sweet comments on my video, and I really want to work with them again. I think it would be just so much fun, and I had so much fun going that I would love the opportunity to work with them again on a trip. I like to visit one new state, which tentatively we have Boston planned for the fall, and then visit 2 new provinces. I know I need to be better about exploring Canada, and we actually are heading to a wedding in New Brunswick this summer, and then I have a conference in Newfoundland this fall. So we're gonna cross those off, and if possible, I would love to go see an F1 race. I'm manifesting it, I'm putting it out there. I would love to somehow go to the race, probably in Montreal, because that's the closest one. I love that so much. So I'm manifesting it, I'm putting it out there. Please, 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 universe, please, please. Okay, business. I wasn't really sure if I wanted to incorporate number goals this year, just because I feel like it's kind of out of hand sometimes. Like, you can do everything right and people still have to subscribe to you. But I did set a few just to kind of keep me motivated. I'd love to hit 150K subscribers on YouTube. I'd like to hit 50K on Instagram and TikTok. I feel like the last month or two I found a really good rhythm of balancing short form content and long form content. And so I feel like I definitely have the capability to grow on those platforms this year. I'd also like to find my niche with short form content, and I think I'm going to go with the 3-pillar strategy, which is basically when you have like 3 main genres or types of content you like to create. So I'm still trying to kind of come up with those. I definitely think book content will be one, maybe home projects, and then maybe just like lifestyle, for example. But I want to work on that and finding what I like to post. December has been a really fun like trial and error month on Instagram and TikTok for me. I've just been kind of uploading a ton of different reels and different kinds of content and seeing what you guys, not necessarily what does best, but what you guys interact with the most. And next is do something work related outside of my comfort zone, whether it be teaching a class, being asked to be a guest speaker, host an event, do a commercial, etc. Next one is travel to Toronto for business 3 times. I put once a quarter and then I'll give myself a break 1 quarter, but I love going. It's such a good opportunity for me to network and socialize, see my management team, and I honestly just feel like I only started going to Toronto as like an adult, so it's like fun to explore, and it's like a fun little solo trip. So I'd like to go at least 3 times. This past year I did 2, so I feel like 3 is definitely doable. And then film at least 1 reading / bookish video every month. So that's kind of a fun goal for me. I love creating book content. I know for the most part you guys love it, and so I want to commit to filming at least 1 every single month. And then in home, we have a few. So we have a structural engineer assessment. We have really good bones in our house. I've talked about this. I mean, we wouldn't have bought this house if it was falling apart, to be quite honest. But we also want to preserve the integrity of this home, and you can tell that the last few owners just like didn't really do that. They had kids, they were busy, and so we really want to make sure that we're putting the love and focus into this home where it's needed. So we really want to have a structural engineer come out. My parents actually just did a full redo of their beams and stuff. They have a 120-year-old home, I think, at least 100 years old, and this year they just like rebuilt all of the like not the foundation, but like the beams and stuff in the house. And so we really want to have a structural engineer come out and tell us kind of like what we can do in the next 5 years to improve on, you know, the integrity of our home. Next, I want to find the confidence and skills to flip furniture for our home. I am someone who, like, if I find something I like on its own on Facebook Marketplace, I'll buy it, but I really struggle to buy things and then like work on them. Like the hutch is a good example. That was kind of the first time I ever bought something that like I didn't like it the way it was in terms of like the color, and I'll have to kind of flip it or paint it. So I really want to start working on stuff like that more, because it's easier to find stuff that you can make your own versus stuff like the stuff that's already ready to go and nice everyone wants, and you can usually get the stuff that like no one wants for cheaper and then make it your own. So that's something I want to work on this year. I also want to do the closet upstairs, and then we have 3 kind of like major home projects for this year. So we have the downstairs bathroom, and that is like a toggle goal. So if you open it, there's like a bunch of sub things to do. That'll be kind of one of the bigger projects for this year. And then the bedroom and the kitchen, I want to just do like DIY renovations like on a budget. We're obviously going to replace our kitchen in the next few years, but for now I want to do just like a little, you know, DIY project, repaint the cabinets, get new hardware, replace the countertops, stuff like that, get a new fixture. Same with the bedroom. Really just want to knock down the bedroom wall, paint, put a accent wall up, and just kind of give it feels very like, not sterile, but like just kind of bland right now. So I also wanted to share, I have like a little bingo card, which is like very, very niche, but let me know down below what's on your bingo card. Like I would love to know what you have on your 2024 bingo card. And we finally get a release date for The Winds of Winter, which I really hope. I really hope we get it before he passes away. The next two are very niche to F1, but I really hope that Oscar wins a race and that Mercedes is actually competitive with Red Bull again, because obviously they did not have a great year. And then last one, once again, these are very niche to like the things I love. I hope Kelsey announces her stadium tour, which she hinted at, so I'm pretty sure she will, but fingers crossed. I figured now we could do obviously some of the bookish content since we're in the library. I want to share my 2023 like reading stats with you guys, as well as my favorite book from every month, and then my 2024 reading goals, because they are a bit different from just like my regular goals. So I use Storygraph. I love it so much, and I figured it'd be fun to share with you guys some of like my reading like stats for 2023. So in 2023, I read 74 books. I set a really low goal of 50 books this year because last year, like 2022 and 2021, I read over like 100 books each year, and I felt like I was kind of just reading to like meet that goal. And so I lowered my goal drastically this year so that I could spend more time enjoying books and not feel like pressured to what's the word? Like to read quickly to hit that goal. Reading 74 books, but it was nice to have that lower goal so I didn't feel pressured to read. So cool. It took me an average of 55% to get through a book before I DNF'd it, and my average time to DNF a book was 1 month. I DNF'd 11 books, 74 books. That means I read 25,992 pages, which is kind of wild. 84% of the books I read were between 300 and 499 pages. I read 97% fiction, which is not shocking. And then these were the top genres that I read. I really want to see fantasy up there a bit more this year, but obviously you can tell thriller, mystery, romance, contemporary, horror were my top genres, which shouldn't surprise anyone. I didn't know it did this, but it shows your most read authors. So mine, Freida McFadden, Riley Sager, Jennifer Lynn Barnes, and Shari Lapena. And my average star rating was a 3.47, which is kind of cool. So anyways, I will put my little Storygraph profile here if you guys are curious in following me. I thought it would be really fun to share my favorite book from every month. Some of these I don't own physical copies for, or they're lost. We have a box of books that is somehow lost in the house because I'm missing a ton of my thriller books. January's top book was Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter. February's was House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. March was All the Dangerous Things by Stacey Willingham. April was The Inmate by Freida McFadden. May was Dial A for Aunties by Jess Q. Satano. And then for the rest of the year, I actually have the physical books. So June's favorite book was Reckless by Elsie Silver. July's was one of my favorite reads of the year, The Only One Left by Riley Sager. August was The Wishing Game by Meg Schaefer, one of my favorite books of the year as well. September is a tie between A Love Letter to Whiskey and House of Hollow. October is Butcher and Blackbird. November is My Roommate is a Vampire, and now we're in December and I don't have a favorite book yet, but those are some of my favorite books of the year. I actually wasn't going to set specific goals for reading for 2024, like book goals, but one of you guys actually suggested it when I asked you guys on Instagram what you wanted to see in my reset. A lot of you guys said that you wanted to see my book goals, which I thought was cool, and it kind of gave me the opportunity to kind of brainstorm some. So I'm going to share that with you guys, and I'm so excited. So here are some of my 2024 reading goals, bookish goals. The first is to read at least one Brandon Sanderson book, and I already know which one I think it's going to be. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Trust of the Emerald Sea, which if you guys don't know, obviously Brandon Sanderson is like one of the biggest and greatest fantasy writers of all time. He actually announced a Kickstarter campaign to publish 4 of his secret novels, which I believe he called the Secret Project series. And this contains Trust of the Emerald Sea, The Frugal Wizard's Handbook for Surviving Medieval England, Yumi and the Nightmare Painter, and The Sunlit Man. And I really want to read Trust of the Emerald Sea. Oh, the Pure Man is here. This is so awkward. Sorry, please don't look at me. So I'd love to do that. I'd really also like to start the Mistborn series, but I need to get a bit more comfortable in fantasy first before I move on to such a high fantasy series. I really want to read for around 2 hours a day. So I set the goal of about 750 hours, which is 2 times like 365 with a few extra hours, because obviously like on the weekends and stuff I read a bit more. So I want to read for at least 750 hours this year. I want to be better about finishing books in series. I feel like I don't know what it is, but I will start a book, I'll read like 3 pages, and then the next day, instead of just like continuing that book, I'll start another new book. It's like I like the like serotonin, or like the instant gratification of starting a new book. And so I really want to be better about finishing books because I have so many books that I'm like 20-30% of the way done that it's not even that they were bad. I just was like, I'm gonna start a new book now. So I really want to prioritize finishing books this year, and I think using the library helps me a lot with that because I have that like time crunch of 3 weeks to finish a book. I want to read the Throne of Glass series. I have a few series I want to read, but I didn't have enough time to brainstorm all the ones I wanted to read. So I know I at least want to read the Throne of Glass series, and I want to read at least one fantasy book every month. I also want to prioritize getting through my Kindle library. I don't really ever buy Kindle books full price, but Kindle, I've said this so many times, Amazon and Kindle have such an amazing daily deal program, and you can get such like good current and new books for like $1, $2, $3.99. I have probably 60 to 70 books on my Kindle between Kindle Unlimited and then all of these just like sales and deals. And so I really want to prioritize reading through my Kindle library this year and not just buying new books all the time. I'd like to find and lean into fantasy subgenres that I enjoy. I kind of talked about this in some previous videos, but the first fantasy book I read was ACOTAR, and I could not, like, I just didn't like it. I thought it was so mediocre, and that's because I realized I don't really like fae fantasy. Obviously a lot of subgenres in fantasy, and I really love like magical realism, contemporary fantasy, and so I really want to lean more into those subgenres that I like, and I would like to challenge myself to read other subgenres, but I really just want to lean into the ones that I like a lot, of course, because that's what I enjoy reading. And the last one is to prioritize the library more. I had a really big issue in the city with holds, and the average like hold time in the Ottawa library system was like almost 32 weeks for a new book. And so if I have to wait 32 weeks to read a book, I'm just gonna like pay the $12 to read it on my Kindle. Whereas now, living in the country, I thought that the library would be worse. Like I thought it would take longer because you wouldn't get a lot of books. And yes, there's not as many copies in like our county library system, but I feel like not like a lot of people utilize the library at all. Yes, the library only has one copy of them, but there's like maybe 1 or 2 people waiting. I find like Book Talk books, there's like 8 or 9 people waiting, like Emily Henry books and stuff, but other books I was shocked that like there's no waits for. Like I can't even keep up with my library holds right now because I get so many of them come in so quick. So now that we are in a place where I can actually use and utilize the library, I just want to utilize it a bit more. I love to thrift and buy books secondhand. I'm not like a huge new book buying person unless it's like an auto-buy author for me, but I just want to make sure I'm really prioritizing the library this year because it's a great accessible thing that we have, and I want to keep supporting them because I don't want them to shut down. So, and now I actually think I'm going to take a break because your girl is hungry and I feel like I've been chatting a long time. And we'll come back, and I wanted to end this off with like a little Notion tour for you guys, and then also share some journal prompts to like kind of get you guys thinking about a new year. And then I'm just so excited for this like next week of reset content. I love divvying it up. I think it's a lot more of a fun way to do it, and I feel like maybe as a viewer it doesn't feel as overwhelming if you break up the reset content. So anyways, I'm gonna eat some lunch and I'll be back. You guys, I literally just scarfed down some leftover pasta, and I wanted to take you guys through my Notion tour before I head back to work for the afternoon. So I've definitely been doing some tweaking to it, and I'm really excited to take you guys along. I always say this originally was a template from Etsy that I've just kind of customized over the years. I will link the original template from Etsy down below, but please know that like mine is a little bit tweaked and personal, and if you buy hers, it's not gonna look exactly like mine because I've tweaked it, but I obviously can't just share my Notion template with you guys because it is based off of a template from Etsy. I have these beautiful photos that just kind of bring me a lot of happiness. They're what I want our home to look like and how I want our home to feel. I have a cute little quote here that says, "Success is a series of small wins." And then I have my directory here, which we'll go through after. I have my monthly goals. Because I'm so close to 100K, I wanted to kind of have here, I'll put my road to 100K day when I log on to my Notion in the morning. It's just like so fun to see that, and like it kind of motivates me. So I like having that there. I also have my upcoming collaborations here. Obviously, we're kind of in a slow season right now because it's like, you know, end of year. But I just like to have this at a glance when I'm on my Notion. On the right hand side, I have a weekly to-do list here. I was doing this in my notes app, but I realized Notion is just like a better place because I just have everything in my Notion. So I have it broken down into house and home, personal, business, returns, and finance. So let's move down. This is just like my video schedule. So I plan out all my long form videos and then my short form videos. And I think that's all that's really here. And then in my directory, we can kind of go through this super quick. So my bookshelf is something somewhat new, and it's definitely not finished yet, but it's a good way for me to like track all of my books and stuff. So I have another directory over here. I have this quote that says her soul belongs to words and books. Every time she reads, she is home, which I just love. And then these are just some of the upcoming 2024 releases. It's obviously not all filled out. I, you know, put books in as we go. And then at the beginning of every month, I'll put that month's books in my calendar so I know when to request them from the library. This is where I do my monthly reading wrap up. Obviously, since this is like my Notion prep for 2024, there's not much in it. My 2024 reading goals, which we went over, I kind of wanted to have that front and center on the page so I could always reference it. So Rouge, for example, I've borrowed from the library currently, and that came out September 12th, and it's like a thriller horror book. So this is what my 2024 book releases will look like once the year's actually started, and how I keep track of all that stuff. I actually bought this on my Kindle, so I'll just write bought on Kindle. And then I'll kind of like delete as I go. Notes and quotes, I don't have anything in there. I don't have anything in Yearly Archive. Current TBR is just books that I'm like hunting for at the thrift store. And then my series tracker is where I've been tracking my series. I actually just did this last night, so I have to add some series in there, but I wanted to film a like finishing series. I'm in the middle of video, so I want to break down the series that I'm currently reading, and I just have them broken down by genre. So that's all on my bookshelf. I wanted to keep it super simple, super easy to navigate, and not really overwhelming. Another new one is my watch list. I really want to challenge myself this year, which, see, I'm already thinking of like that would have been a good goal to add, so I might add that in there. See, goals are always changing and evolving. These are 2023 releases that we haven't seen yet, and then 2024 releases that obviously we haven't seen yet because the year hasn't started, and then these are shows that we want to watch. I feel like now that we've moved out and the closest movie theater is like 40 minutes away, I think we need to prioritize in our budget renting movies because it's not really feasible to always be going to the movies, which also reminds me to cancel our movie membership. The gears are just turning now. As we go, we rent these movies, I'll take them off, but these are all the movies that we want to see, or at least like I want to see. Oh, see, where is After Everything? I just watched that, so I can put that to the top. And then these are just some shows that we want to watch. So whenever we hear a recommendation from a friend or TikTok or something, I write it down, and then I write down the platform that it's on. And then these are just some releases that I'm like looking forward to. And then I really want to rate the shows and movies that we watch this year or this upcoming year. So I have like a master list. And so we'll be able to say like, I don't know, whatever movie it is, if we've watched it. I'm only going to do this for watched movies. So I'll take out the option to watch, priority, genre, and then rating. So I really want to do that going into this year because I think that'll be a fun way to motivate us to watch more movies. Trip planner, I don't have super planned out yet. It just has all of our trips that we have going on. New home dashboard, I showed this in my December reset, but this is just kind of how we are keeping track of everything. I have a nice little mood board with the house and like kind of the vibe we're going for. I have our paint colors written down. I have like random measurements in case I'm looking for something. I can take that off because we already have those, but like for example, entryway for dresser, we can only fit a 33-inch width dresser. So write that down. Current projects and the cost breakdown of them. So I have that. And then housework we've had done and like the cost, so we can keep track of all of that. Random brain dump. This is where I just put literally random brain dumps, whether it's like our thoughts on fostering, paint colors I like. If I see something on TikTok that's like the best primer, for example, I just wrote that down so I don't forget it. And I always have so many random screenshots on my phone, so it's super important for me to write these things down in like a random page. Monthly reset and reflect. So this is what I'm going to be using going into my monthly resets for 2024. I have obviously my monthly reset page here, and then monthly reflection, which I might start doing. I have goal ideas. I need to change this. Some of this is just like old fall bucket list, obviously. And then I have all of my growth trackers here. 2023 personal finances, I actually don't really use this, to be quite honest with you, so I should probably delete that. 2024 goals is where I obviously keep my 2024 goals, and then I have like my more private goals down below, like some of the like really big goals I have. 2023 archive is where I put anything like, so all my monthly resets from 2023, all my brand deals. I actually need to change that. I need to actually update some of these still. I have a prepping for 2024 checklist, which will be my, not next video, but the one after that. So I've been kind of gathering some things that I want to do for that video. And then I just have my credit card tracker. This is how I track all of my like credit cards, points, and all of that kind of stuff. And so these are the cards like I currently have. This is like all things I can share. There's nothing private here. This is how I'll track my credit score. And then these are some of the cards that I'm either wanting to try this year or I'm watching and waiting for them to have a bonus. And that's kind of the updated Notion for 2024. I feel like Notion really helps me get my shit together. And anyways, hopefully that was inspiring in case you wanted to kind of create new pages. And like I said, stuff like that, especially with my Notion, like updating my Notion and creating new pages really helps get me motivated. Like I literally am gonna go jot down that I wanna make sure we watch at least one new movie a month and account for that in our budget. I know I said that we weren't doing our vision board in this video, and we're not. But like I mentioned, I want these videos to be all about kind of like the baby steps and like the realistic steps that I'm going to take to do the whole 2024 reset. And so now that I kind of have a good idea of the goals that I want, and I just actually added that goal in there to watch a new movie every month, I feel like once again for your vision board, it's something you have to kind of like work on. I don't know. I'm not someone who can just like sit and put my whole vision board together. Like I really need to like pin photos here and there and kind of like go through Pinterest like, I don't know, once a day and kind of like add photos here and there. I don't know, I feel rushed. I feel like it never turns out as good. So what I've also been doing is just going through my Pinterest, and I made a 2024 vision board and I've just been kind of putting photos in there here and there that kind of feel like they resonate with me and my goals as I kind of like sit with my goals and let them like I said, marinate. And so anyways, I'm starting the vision board process, but I'm gonna kind of put the vision board together in another video. But I am starting to kind of curate that board on Pinterest, which is kind of fun, and I honestly just love scrolling Pinterest to begin with. So I figured I could show you guys that as well. Like I said, I've just been kind of slowly putting together my vision board. So here is the board on my Pinterest. And as I've been scrolling, if I kind of see something that resonates with a goal of mine, I'll just save it. And then I'll kind of just add things to this. I like to have more photos than not enough because then I get stressed out. And so I'll just add a ton of photos here. And then when I go to make my vision board, I'll kind of just select which ones mean the most to me. Like for example, I like this Disney photo. It kind of represents that goal of going to a new Disney park and working with Disney again. But like, do I need to put it on my vision board? I don't know. Another way I like to do it as well is to have my goals on one side of my laptop and then my Pinterest on the other. And that way I can like look up specific goals to photos. So for example, maybe I'm going to look up SUVs because that correlates to our trading in our car quote, and I'm gonna look for the specific one. Like this is actually literally the specific RAV4 I want in this exact color. So I'm gonna save this to my 2024 vision board. Same goes for like F1 race. I'm gonna kind of like look up some photos and pin those. Like maybe this one, honestly, I really like that. Let's put that on my 2024 vision board. Another one I feel like I always put is some kind of like airplane to signify traveling. I love this photo. I think I had this on my 2023 vision board, but obviously get super specific. So I can put one maybe on my board about Toronto because I want to go for work more. Maybe I'll do this one. I really like this photo. Put that on my vision board. The issue I ran into with my 2023 vision board is it wasn't specific enough. Like I was just saving photos I liked, and now I'm kind of doing that on a different board. I feel like I have to save photos that are more specific to my goals and not just like what I want my year to look like in general. Like I feel like having a separate board for that is good. So anyways, that's just kind of a little bit about how I've been putting together prepping for my vision board. So yeah, that is the kind of start of the 2024 reset, I'll say. Anyways, let me know down below one of your goals for this year, your favorite book from this year, what's on your bingo card for 2024. Like, let me know everything. Write me a whole paragraph. I love reading your comments, you guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed. I love you so much, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye!